Alpi in the overtime looked like he wanted it and wanted the ball to take over. Was that orders from the bench, or was that just Alpi in his mindset?
No, I think that's what kind of drew up on the last play. You want him to obviously get the last shot, but get downhill and make a decisive move. It wasn't his best move there, but he had good carryover into overtime. And we always talk about is if it's not going your way, whether it's an overtime, fourth quarter, one good quarter, whatever it may be, how you can still have a bounce back. And that's what he did. Big fourth quarter and overtime for him. And like you said, it wasn't going his way. It wasn't pretty early, but he stuck with it. And I think the group did in general, especially after giving up the late lead.
How good is it when you see a team that when they make a run at you late in the fourth, you can just kind of forget about it that quickly and just do a reset and just move on and over? How good is it to see a team do that in the overtime especially?
Yeah, it was back-to-back nights now. We did the same thing last night against Minnesota. Where we had a late 5-point lead and kind of gave that away and then had to regroup and get ready for overtime. So that was a message today. It made it harder than it has to be, but let's finish it on a good note and bounce back like we did last night and put it behind us. And so felt like we got more stingy on defense there. Alpi woke up. Fred said to him, looked at his fake watch and said, well, thanks for showing up at 9:30. But he showed up, and, that's good players do that, obviously, on a tough night. And so, tough stretch, getting in 2, 3, 4 in the morning, going to sleep, whatever, and having to bounce back and play another overtime game. So happy with that effort, and made it harder than it had to be, but 2 sweet wins on the road.
What do you say about the team's resiliency when they pull that off?
Say about who?
The team's being able to show the kind of resiliency for your team. What to say about your team's makeup?
Yeah, it's showing growth for sure. At times we would have lost some of those games last year, but we've had the experience of having leads that dissipated throughout this year so far and having to bounce back or fighting our way back in. And so one thing I've never questioned with us is effort and fight, and we're a scrappy group that's going to continue to fight until we get back in the game. And so even when we lose the lead, we can let it go kind of and regroup, and that's what we did tonight and last night.
Is there an adjustment that Jalen made or that you made for Jalen from the previous games?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to get him going downhill a little bit more and to attack the basket, put him in some situations where he's not as reliant on jump shots, and some of those sets get him, with a head of steam. And so, but he came out aggressive and, made some of his first shots when they went under a few times, and guys set great screens and created space for him. But, as always, it's good to see some go in, and the more stops we can get out in transition, he was a recipient of that tonight.
Another night where men had an impact. What did you like about his minutes?
Yeah, he was huge. I mean, stat sheet stuffer, of course. And, we had 14 blocks. He has 3 of them, multiple steals, and then did a really good job late on Maxey. Same thing he did with Edwards last night. And so, it's become accustomed to this now. 14-7, 3-3. I'm sorry, 19-13, 3-3. Looking at Tari's numbers there, but those two as a tandem are really disruptive, and it's one thing he pretty much brings on a nightly basis now.
This one makes 20 games kind of a traditional checkmark,
Yeah.
checkpoint. How do you feel about where you guys are a quarter way into the season?
I feel we've improved in the last 10. We talked about after our first 10 games how we want to have another jump in improvement after in the next 10. And so good benchmark today, with a few days off, no game for 3 days. Now we can kind of rest up and mentally get away, physically heal up, and like where we're at. I felt like we got better in these last 10 than the start of the season. So the key is always being consistent and continue to grow in that area, and I think we've taken steps as far as that. But as you saw with the late fouls and some of those things, we still got some room to grow.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.